Woo!
Hello everyone, this is weird because I'm holding a weird mic and I look like a dick. But what I'm trying to do here is get a video done with my good friend, Sam Peoples.
Come on, here we
from
go.
UnitedPeoplesTV.
Finally started a YouTube channel, isn't he?
Mate. Yeah, it's taken a while. And right, so this is one where I'm going to call it Let's Have It Right. Okay?
It's a very James Alcott title.
It is. I love a little title. And what I want to do is talk to you about Man United. Anyone who hasn't checked out Sam's channel, like if you know who I am, then you probably know who Sam is. If you don't, UnitedPeoplesTV, link is in the description. Let's see, I've got to let her know my bits.
I'll do it back to you.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Appreciate that. And there's great content all the time about Man United, not nonsense that other Man United channels seem to spout. Paul Pogba.
Yes.
Will Paul Pogba ever fulfil his potential?
Absolutely. I mean, come on. He will be the world's best midfielder at some point in his career. It's.
What makes you say that?
He's got everything. It's just the only thing he seems to be missing is an ability. I don't even know, because he is in Italy, which is the most tactically disciplined country in the world. Positionally, in Italy, you have to stay in your position because they're not used to overlapping fullbacks. They're not really used to pacey football. It's just defensive and certain positions for certain players. And Pogba was fantastic at Juventus, out on the left of a midfield three. At United, he hasn't had that too often, and that's been hard for him to adapt into a midfield too.
Do you think that's true though, what you're saying? Because I've said the same thing before, that it is, and I think it was for years and years, Italian football was so tactically ahead, certainly from a defensive point of view. It was cat and mouse football. But now, I wonder if the Premier League's gone beyond it with these great coaches that we've got in the Premier League now. Not only in terms of the pace of it, but the tactics as well. And I wonder if Paul Pogba actually had it a little bit easier over in Italy.
Oh, he definitely had it easier. That was the point I was alluding to. But Mourinho, I think maybe if Pogba was playing under Klopp, you would have seen more of him already, because Klopp isn't as disciplined in certain respects as Mourinho is. He's not that type of, obviously he's the gegenpress and the whole intensity that Liverpool bring. That's where Klopp is disciplined. But with Mourinho, he's a proper disciplinarian. It's like your wingers are going to defend as fullbacks. You see Rashford and Lingard last year almost as win-back, especially at Anfield when we drew 0-0. Pogba there's not one specific point where I can say, if this changes,
so that's why I want to ask this question. That's why I want to, because I don't know, and that's kind of part of this whole idea as well. Is that I want to talk to people who know about their club better than I do. Because my idea of Paul Pogba and the image that's been portrayed is that something's not right. So for you as a Man United fan, are you fearful that it won't click?
Personally, no, because when you watch Paul Pogba, when you see Paul Pogba in full flow for 90 minutes. You understand that he really is the full package of a midfielder. He has everything. It's just that he hasn't reached that level yet where he can do that week in, week out, every single game. That's the difference between a top quality player and a world-class player. And Pogba hasn't reached that level yet. But he's only 24, I think it's 24 now. And, he's played a lot of football already in his career. Him leaving United was a sour note at the start because we brought Paul Scholes back out of retirement. That was another blocker for him, and we started Park Ji-sung and Raphael in midfield instead of Paul Pogba. So that was all a load of shambles at that point, and he obviously wanted to do great things at Juventus. We've seen that. We've seen the best of Paul Pogba in fleeting moments at United so far. Everyone expects him, because of his price tag, to score and get an assist every game. It's not going to happen. What I want Pogba to do is just control the midfield. You don't have to get a goal or an assist. Just make sure that you've got the ball the most, that you're feeding your teammates the most. A bit like you in midfield, James.
Yeah,
he could learn a lot from you, right?
So the criticism that comes from the criticism that revolves around Pogba, then it's down to him not stepping up in a big game yet. Do you think it goes away as soon as he does that? He needs his moment, doesn't he? He needs his Roy Keane against Juventus game. He needs his David Beckham versus
For everybody else, for fans of other clubs and the media, he needs that moment. For United fans, he doesn't need that moment. We've seen Pogba dominate games for 90 minutes. We know it's already there. It's just that sometimes it disappears. And, since Alexis Sanchez arrived at United, he hasn't been the best. And I don't know whether that's because Sanchez's arrival has made United's attacking dynamic switch and change. But Paul Pogba himself, take Crystal Palace, for example, he was spraying passes, awful passes, basic passes that he should be making. And he'll know that. But if you think about he's on 9 assists in the Premier League this season. De Bruyne's on 14. Pogba's missed. The amount of games he's missed is ridiculous. And his end product has improved. It will get better, but last year was his best goal-scoring year in his career, I think. At least equal to what he did at Juventus. I'm not worried about him reaching his potential, but it's taken longer than I think we all thought it would for him to readapt to life at United.
Next guy in the firing line, Jose Mourinho.
Yes.
And another one where there's that obvious narrative of the fact that, right, he's come back, he's not had the unlimited success that he's had previously, and so that means he's being left behind. Is Jose Mourinho being left behind by the other managers, by the world of football?
No. That overreaction is such a ridiculous statement to say. It's like saying Conte is an absolutely terrible manager because all of a sudden the team that he made the champions last year are struggling. Yes, managers do struggle, but look at Mourinho. He's second in the league. They might call it a tin pot trophy, but United never won the Europa League. We won it last year, got back into the Champions League. We won the League Cup. No United manager has ever won a trophy in his debut season. Mourinho won 2. And if you look at last year, in 38 games, I think United had 19 wins. We've already got 19 wins in the Premier League this year. It's just that Man City, this anomaly of a side, are breaking all the records and making everybody else look really bad. So United are progressing. United have got a lot better under Mourinho. Any United fan will tell you that because we had Moyes and Van Gaal. It wasn't that hard to improve.
But can he get Manchester United playing the United way, whatever that is?
We have been playing the United. We've got a song, Jose's playing the way that United should. On other occasions, we're not, but every manager is different. And the thing I love about Mourinho and the reason why I'm happy he's United's manager is he does have that tactical versatility, especially in European games. I'm looking forward to seeing what United... Away against Seville, that was poor. But I would rather have Mourinho in charge of United in a European fixture than Klopp, than Guardiola, than any other manager because he is great at knockout football. And that's what United... The measure of Mourinho's success at United for the next 3 years, Champions League or Premier League. If he didn't win either of those, the next couple of years are going to be deemed a failure. But United are certainly moving in the right direction. But again, a bit like Paul Pogba, sometimes it's a bit slower than I think we all thought it was going to be.
When it comes to the style of play of football, you look at the other teams. I think that's why it's more magnified with Jose Mourinho. Because I certainly, and this is what again, let's have it right. Am I being unfair with this? I'm going to do a match reaction to Liverpool, Manchester United tomorrow, and I did a few earlier in the season with Ball Street, and I found myself. I had this kind of negative aura when looking at Man United, and I don't want to be like that unless it's, merited. Is that a fair perception to have of Man United that the football is not anywhere near the improvement that you've seen and the quality of football that you've seen with Jurgen Klopp or Pep Guardiola or Pochettino with Spurs? I
think with Poch, with Guardiola, with Klopp, it's a lot easier to see where the improvements come because it comes properly in attack, it comes with pace, it's the highlights. What you see in the improvements of those teams is the highlights. But United have got the best defensive record in the league this year. David De Gea is a massive reason why that happens. I'm not saying that Chris Smalling, Phil Jones and Lindelof are the best defenders in the world, but Mourinho built his best teams on the defence. You had Carvalho, you had Terry, all those defenders he had. If they had a 1-0 lead, Chelsea were winning. They're not going to concede. That was what he built his success on. Klopp hasn't built his success on that, neither has Guardiola. Every manager's got his style, and I don't think it's too unfair to say that United's style of play sometimes is boring, because sometimes it is. But we've scored more goals already this season than we did last year. Lukaku's on for 30 goals this season. We've got Sanchez, we've got Martial, we've got Lingard, we've got Mata, we've got Pogba. United's team is exciting as hell. It's just that in certain games, Mourinho will go into it knowing full well that a draw, that, I'm trying to word it right, that the danger of losing is you're so scared of that it's more important than not winning.
Yeah.
And that's why Mourinho goes into games with that mentality sometimes. And not everybody agrees with it. But look at Mourinho's titles, and ultimately that is what football managers of Guardiola, Klopp, Pochettino, Mourinho will ultimately all be measured on the silverware that they win. And Mourinho, none of them are better than Mourinho. Well, Guardiola is equal, but nobody else in the Premier League is equal to that of what Mourinho does. He wins trophies, and sometimes it's not pretty.
So going on from when Mourinho came into the team, would you say he's taken Man United further than Klopp has with Liverpool?
I would say yes. Liverpool fans, you're clearly going to disagree with me, but if you look, again, it's going to be down to the measure of success. The reason that Liverpool fans hate getting into a conversation at the Premier League is because they've never won the bloody thing. You know, they came so close under Brendan Rodgers, and that was through wicked attacking football, but they just had this perfect storm of Sturridge, Sterling and Suarez, which disappeared quickly when Suarez left. I think Liverpool come on leaps and bounds under Klopp, but he's lost a Europa League final. Mourinho won it. He's lost a League Cup, FA Cup final. Mourinho won the League Cup final.
At this year, when you draw a line at this moment in time, you kind of have to look through gritted teeth, isn't it? It's like a Newcastle United side in like the mid-90s. Like everyone loved them, but Man United won those trophies, and that you're right. When it comes to the measure of success, you're right.
It's only when it comes to these elite clubs who have built their reputation over the decades of winning things. Had Liverpool not won that many European Cups and not been the second most successful club in England behind United, then they wouldn't be too pissed off about Klopp losing the finals. Just like the exciting, exhilarating football is brilliant. Klopp's a great manager 95% of the time, but that crucial 5%, Mourinho is leaps and bounds a better manager, and that's why I think that United have come on more.
Okay, let's get back to the Man United squad then. Is the Man United squad, as it is right now, is it good enough to win a Championship title?
No. Defensively, as I said, we might have the best defensive record in the league, but that's because of David De Gea. You know, no keeper has a better shot-save ratio than De Gea. He's faced a ton of shots. He just doesn't concede that many. And the measure of a good defence is not by how many saves the keeper's making, it's by how many saves the keeper actually has to make.
Right.
Because that's what we did under Van Gaal. That's why Chris Smalling looked like such a good defender that year, is because we played such turgid football, so slow, we hardly faced any shots. We hardly had any shots. There was basically no shots in a Van Gaal game, which made it very easy,
boring, wasn't it?
very easy for the goalkeepers. And that's why I say it's easier to see the progress at United, because we are facing shots. You know, like that 3-2 against Crystal Palace would never have happened under Van Gaal. And it was great, but defensively, we've got to make some serious changes in the summer.
So who in particular is holding you back from doing that? Because I think at the start of the season, I think you would have been hopeful that this team might be good enough to win a title. You've seen Man City have gone to a different level. So who are the players that you're like, you need to go and you need to go for you to get to win the title again?
If I was to choose 3 players, not that I'm scapegoating these players, because at some points they play okay, but at others they don't. I'm going to say Chris Smalling, I'm going to say Ashley Young, I'm going to say Marouane Fellaini. 3 players, you know, who have been here for a long time. Fellaini, obviously, he's a Moyes relic. It's a bit unfair on him to compare him to that, but
he's been a weapon for you, isn't he?
Yeah, at points, you know, prior to him getting injured at the start of the season, he got like 9 goals, 4 goals in 9 games. He was fantastic, but it's Marouane Fellaini. If you're going to be competing for the Premier League title against this City side who was exhilarating, exciting, attacking, you don't want Marouane Fellaini in the team. I'm sorry,
yeah,
but
fair enough.
You can sell him and improve on that position very easily. And Chris Smalling, as I said, his best season at United came under Van Gaal, but with a modern-day centre-back absolutely has to be able to play out from the back with the ball at his feet. And that's what City do so well. That's why they dominate. It's what City, Liverpool and Spurs do very well. United can't do it because Victor Lindelof was bought to do that, and he hasn't really adapted to life in the Premier League yet.
Well, that's it as well. I think let's have it right. Has Lindelof been an absolute disaster because Mourinho saw him as the guy, or was he hoping that Chris Smalling was still going to be the guy? No,
I think he knew full well that Chris Smalling wasn't going to be that guy, hence why he bought Lindelof. And, you know, we've been unlucky in the fact that Eric Bailly has been out since November, and he's by far and away, anybody can say he's our best centre-back. It's like, you know, had Bailly been in there this season, he would have made Jones and Smalling look better. It's like when Johnny Evans played alongside Vidic or Ferdinand. Once you got that really top draw centre-back playing alongside somebody who's not as good, age irrelevant in this situation because Bailly's so young, it makes that centre-back play better. And then when the pressure, I'm sorry, but you can't have Jones and Smalling playing in this centre-back partnership. They were there when Fergie was here. A lot's changed, and a lot has changed at United since then. So I'm not scapegoating Smalling because I think Jones has been poor as well, but Smalling is 28 years old. It's
funny, isn't it? And I always still look at him and thinking, oh, you know, this year,
he's got the potential. He's got the potential.
Yeah. It's gone, isn't it?
You can't do that anymore. You can't do that anymore.
The signing of the transfer window, I think, for a lot of people, Alexis Sanchez going to Man United, him not going to Man City was a huge part of it. All very exciting, but he hasn't hit the ground running at all. And he's also possibly taken away the opportunities for one of your best players in Anthony Martial. Will Alexis Sanchez be a success at Man United?
Absolutely, he will be. You know, he is a ready-made world-class finisher, and the fact that he hasn't hit the ground running at United.
Yeah, why is he not fitting right now?
I
still think with Man United, it does feel like individuals. There doesn't seem to be that cohesion that, again, Spurs, Liverpool, Man City, you see at those other teams.
I think at points that is fair to say, but then if you look at the second half against Palace, that was a team effort. Everybody was on the same wavelength. It was just like throwing everything forward and 3 goals stuck, and that was great.
Yeah.
But Sanchez, I think with Sanchez is we're not sure where he's going to start every single game, and that's a bit of an issue because technically left wing, you probably want to start Sanchez there. That's Martial's position. He's been playing great this year. Should he play number 10 and kick Lingard or Mata out of the team? Not sure. Should he play right wing? I'm not sure. Prior to Sanchez's arrival, United's front four was pretty set. You had Martial on the left, you had Lingard number 10 or Mata, and you had Rashford on the right with Lukaku up front. Happened most games. But with Sanchez now, his arrival means we've got this front three behind Lukaku that's moving. So like Sanchez will start on the right, 10 minutes later he's on the left, and Martial's in the middle. They keep moving, and I think the players are struggling to adapt to that.
So there's no fears for you there. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, it really genuinely, it's Alexis Sanchez. It really is a matter of time. That guy has done it everywhere he's been. Udinese, he was fantastic. Barcelona, even better. And then obviously he was Arsenal's standout player for a long, long time. I'm not worried about it, but just like Paul Pogba, it's just taken a little bit longer than maybe we all thought. Is that down to Mourinho? Is that down to the pressures of playing at United instead of different clubs? Who knows? But United are only second this year by that much of a margin because of how good City are. Every club in the Premier League's got a lot to do in the summer to try and close that gap. United have done a big thing in stopping Sanchez going there. Do you imagine they bought Sanchez in January? They'd be like 20 odd points ahead of us. And you'd be like, what are we supposed to do? So next year is going to be a madness, but I don't know how we're going to close that gap, but we've got to.
Sam, thank you, mate.
You're welcome.
First time on my channel.
Let's have it right, yeah?
Yeah, let's have it right.
Let's have it right.
Do you feel like you've had it right?
I think on occasion, I think there might be a couple of faux pas in there somewhere.
A few moments, yeah. Is he right in what he's saying? Are Man United getting any closer? And how far away are they from winning the title again? And also, who's going to win a title first? Liverpool or Man United?
Well, that's an easy question, isn't it?
Yeah. I'll put a poll card up there. You can enjoy that. Check out Sam's channel, United People's TV. It is the best Manchester United channel out there on the internet. I'm going to be watching the game tomorrow, and I'm going to be doing my own match reaction straight after the game, giving my neutral thoughts on the game. I'll try not to be too harsh to Man United.
Yeah, I think you will be.
If you don't want to miss that, hit the notification bell and subscribe to James Lawrence Alcott. I'll see you soon.